I'm Brent Michael Davids, and I'm a professional music composer and a citizen of the Stockbridge Munsee Band of the Mohican Nation. It was interesting, the hymns were sort of fluid in a way. They would do different versions of them or different, change lyrics around and do different versions of these hymns, so they were kind of not static things like we think of a hymnal where they are all printed and they're permanent in a way. These are more fluid. But the manuscript that I saw was, it was in old style music notation that we don't really use anymore. So I just made the comment that I said, oh, these are interesting, but they're not really usable now. Like congregations wouldn't know how to sing this notation anymore. These were in older style notation where you had measures that were really long with more beats in them than just 3 or 4. And they use a more archaic system of telling you what the rhythms are, like the tempos. So they're not using like modern music notation. So we don't use that anymore. I know what that is because I studied, old Gregorian chants and things when I was doing, music theory in class and stuff like that. But it's just not really used anymore. People would look at it and go, what? The way the harmonies move, they kind of leap around a little bit. Like usually, in hymns especially, the internal parts move in a more of a steady way. So you might have a note that's like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then occasionally down. The notes don't move very far apart from each other. But this one was like leaping all over, like da 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 da. It had a lot of leaps in there. I studied some of the language too. I've used it in my own music, like a lot from the Truman Michelson field notes from the Smithsonian. There's a guy, Truman Michelson, went through Mohican country early on, and he transcribed a bunch of stories and language notes and things like that. So I've already delved into those and trying to use that language in my music occasionally. So yeah, it's cool to hear native language, hear the Mohican being sung in the lyrics, and then the people in the community, singing it and being interested. And I'm not religious myself. I'm an atheist, so I have no I have no dog in this fight as far as like God or Jesus or anything. They're both in there. They're both in the Bible. The torturous, genocidal kind of theologies, and then also the more peaceful, gentle, maternal kind of theologies too. But I don't know. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of it. So I probably won't come, sit in the pews and sing with them at church if they're singing it like that. But if they want to do other different versions of it, or try producing different incarnations of the music, or if they they might discover new material at some point, like a whole other collection of new hymns or other music that native people wrote, of the same time period. And so the project might expand that way. There's always new discoveries.